this is the new GoPro Hero 10. GoPro Hero 10, GoPro 10, GoPro 10. Comes in this nice little box. Bit of a hard case for when you throw it around. Is it in here? Is it there? I mean, something just fell out. Ooh. Now, I currently have the GoPro 8. And this is obviously a level up in terms of quality, in terms of style, and in terms of ergonomics. Now, with the GoPro 10, they've obviously added the new blue feature where you can see like the blue writing. It's very insignificant, really, but to be honest, I think it's a nice subtle touch, and I don't know why they didn't do it sooner. I'm going to read off some of the specs now before we head out and look at some of the footage, and then when we come back, I'm also going to look at some of the photos because this does shoot 23 megapixels. I'm going to be doing an entire POV with this, so I'm going to have the GoPro 8 strapped to my chest, and I'm going to be going around with just the GoPro capturing photos, and that POV will be coming up fairly soon. 23 megapixel photos, 5.3K at 60p, or 4K at 120p, or 2.7K at 240p. It can go down to 10 meters worth of water resistance, so that's like 33 feet. Also, it's got a GP2 processor. Because of the GP2 processor, it means that the touch capabilities, it means that it's much smoother and a lot quicker when you're going through all of the menus and stuff like that. In the previous GoPro models, I don't know if you've noticed, but they were a bit slower. It's noticeably faster. Now, there's a bunch of guys doing like a photo battle tonight, so I'm going in to go and I don't actually know what they're doing. They've said I can pop in and come and see them. So that's the plan. And obviously, as the night goes on, it's going to get darker and darker and darker. And one of the selling points for this camera is that it should be better in low light conditions. So we'll test that and see actually how good it is. So what's the purpose of this video? I want to give you kind of like a real world perspective on how this GoPro works in real life settings at night. Because predominantly GoPros have been pretty bad with low light conditions. And as far as I can see from other reviews and other things, this is apparently pretty good. Okay, so I've met up with the lads. I'll link. So this dude does meetups where they do like photo battles. He sets a challenge. So tonight's challenge is depth. So everybody that's out with him tonight has to go out and shoot photos that have things to do with depth, and that's what he's doing this evening. I'll link him below if you want to know. If you're around London, he does this on a regular occurrence. He's trying to grow it, and I think it's quite an interesting thing. They're currently 3 members of the public fighting over about being a model, which is quite funny. But let's talk a little bit about why I think that GoPros have leveled up a lot. So just before we jump into like the daytime stuff, I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison of the Sony a7 III and the GoPro 10. Now, these are obviously not directly comparable, but I wanted to show you for the fact that this is what, a £380 setup, and this is nearly a £2,000 setup. This is the difference. So you have to think about it. If you've got a budget of say £400, you can have that GoPro. You're able to take 23 megapixel photos. This shoots 24 megapixels, the Sony. Obviously there's a massive difference in like dynamic range and everything like that, but on the basis of if your budget and your life can allow you to afford £400, that's the point I'm going down. Like, can this really be a contender for a budget camera? I think it can. So inevitably during the day, we know that the video content is going to be good, right? If you have a GoPro during the day, you know with good lighting, the colors are going to be great. So that's not really the test that I'm here to do. The test that I've come out to do this morning is to do with photography. Is the 23 megapixels good enough for you to use it as a budget camera? Let's find out. So I've swapped over to this Sony so I can show you how I'm going to take photos on the GoPro. It's all set up at the moment. I've got it on photo wide. I've maximized the ISO at 400 so I don't get, I get less noise. I'm going to be doing a whole POV with this. So basically I'm going to have the GoPro 8 on my chest, and then I'm going to have this 10 in my hand taking photos in the POV. That's going to be coming up shortly. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that stuff. At the moment I'm using this frame here to frame a bus with the GoPro with Piccadilly in the background, and I'll show you the photo once I get it. I'm just literally waiting for stuff to come up, like I'm just waiting for the bus to come up here. So all the photos that I'm shooting on the GoPro are shot in RAW, and then in post-production I'm going to edit them myself. But we're going to head home and look at the photos that I've taken. I'm taking a bunch of street stuff, you know, like of the buses, this dude, taxis, that type of thing, but we're going to look at them now. I'll edit them with my presets in Lightroom, but I just want to see whether or not it's doable to call this a budget camera or not. Now, I'm in no way saying that this GoPro here is going to replace this Sony. It's never going to do that. It's never going to replace a DSLR, and it's never going to replace a mirrorless. That's just factual. It's not going to replace that dynamic range, the capability of changing lenses, and having full control over manual settings. Now, you do have control of this with the shutter speed and the ISO, but it's just never going to be the same. You can't get the same out of this and this because of the sensor size, and that's just fact. But if your budget is £400, can you justify getting this until you can afford this? Yes, and I'm going to say that, and I think maybe I'm going to say that loosely. And the reason I'm saying that is because I will always be a camera user. I will always say that the camera's best. But it's getting closer. The way that technology is advancing, it's getting closer. With the new iPhone 13 Pro, which I'm going to be doing a video on soon as well, that line is getting shorter and shorter between cameras, DSLRs, and tech. With all that being said though, let's look at some of the photos that I got with the GoPro, and I was incredibly surprised. Even in the back of the GoPro I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And I mean that because a lot of the photos actually turned out similar to the shots that I got on the Canon M50. Okay, this is an interchangeable lens, meaning that I can change the lens and I can put different size millimeter lenses on this, and yes, that means that this is better, but I was really shocked, to be honest with you. I thought that the quality wasn't going to be that great, but it was on par with a Canon M50. And when you think about this is what, £500, 500 and something pound, when you look at the size difference. This is a perfect all-round starter, beginner place to go. I'm not saying if you want to get into photography, go and buy a GoPro, because that's just not what I'm saying, because you should go and get a camera. But it's a very difficult grey area. If you want something that can shoot crazy frame rates at an amazing quality, and you want something that you can carry around really easy and, you know, throw it around and catch it and pop it on everything and mount it to anything, then the GoPro is generally the thing for you. If you want to go out and start learning professional photography, then you need to start with a mediocre camera. That's just a good stepping stone. So what's my takeaway from this video? The daytime quality is obviously amazing, as it always is with good lighting. The sensor gets enough light, so it just looks really crisp and lovely. At nighttime, they've improved a lot when it comes to low light capabilities, and just for that alone, I'm happy that I bought it. Top of that, you have the 23 megapixel photos that are just insanely good for coming out of a GoPro. Yes, it's great at recording video, but I feel like photo has always been the bit that it's lacked on, and well, that's changed. I remember the first ever astrophotography that I actually ever did was on a GoPro, and I'm excited to go and do something similar with this over the next few weeks. So, do I recommend you go and buy it? Yes. But that being said, if you want to get into professional photography, go and get a Canon M50 or a Sony 6400 or something along those lines. But for £380 or whatever it is, you really can't go wrong. Let's jump into the hashtag and see what you guys have been shooting over the last few days. Now, if you guys are new here, I use the hashtag OpticalWander over on Instagram, where you guys can show me your work. We're going to go through the most recent. This one here is from David S. Casco. I really like that nice rainy vibe. I really want it to rain hard again here in London so I can go out and do a nice rainy POV, like a proper one. This one here from IG Magia Club. I like that a lot. This one here from Connor Cooper. For some reason, it's on airplane mode. Why is it on airplane mode? I'm losing the quality. This one here is from Nordy97. Next one down is from Bongani LFC. That's nice. I really like that. It's really, really sharp as well. This one is from Street World Photography, or Photography. And this one here from Manuel Navas. And Trayton's View, maybe. And the last one here from Join Photography. Really, really nice. Oh, the colours. It's coming into that fall vibe. That autumn vibe is coming. And I can't wait for that vibe. I've got loads of trees out this window and I can't wait to see just like a sea of orange. I've got an exciting trip coming up, which I can't wait to talk about. I've kept it really quiet, to be honest with you. But in the next 10 days, I will be going somewhere super exciting. Obviously going to bring you guys along. Going to be doing some POVs. Going to do some vlogs. And I can't wait. It involves a plane. It involves me going out of the UK for the first time in 2 years. And I'm super stoked. With all that being said, create more, stress less, and of course, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.